And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I'm net control. If at any time during this net, should an emergency arise, please notify net control. We'll stand by and allow those who need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? Hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We're recording now live till 5, and then we'll post it up on YouTube so you can come by later and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, where we're now featuring about 940 some odd Qso-Vlog Airchecks. Also this afternoon we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring Rochester, New York, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get a better copy on our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated. They are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. We do use a lot of rotary selectors in our shack, mainly because there's nothing faster than a rotary switch for comparing multiple signals. And today we'll be running 2 separate transmit and receive radios. Our normal modified Yaesu FT990 will be the transmit radio, and an ICOM 7300 will be our test receiver radio. The idea being that the 7300 has a lot newer digital receive technology, so that's what we'll be evaluating. One of yesterday's great radios, the Yaesu 990, in an A/B test with the newer ICOM Digital 7300. Of course, this is just a sidewalk survey because they will not be sharing the same antenna. The 990 will be on a resonant no SWR dipole antenna, and the 7300 will be using our large twin 10-foot magnetic loop antennas with co-phase option. Also today we'll be running our new visual input source indicator. So when we switch receivers from the 7300 to the 990, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. Well, those are our working conditions. How about yours? This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up in northern New Hampshire. They're having a major snowstorm at the moment, and Charlie may have difficulties reaching us, but let's check in and see. Charlie, you got a copy?
Yes, Jim, I am. You said it. You are correct. K1GZL. I'm only, I'm not barely wiggling. I'm on the other antenna. It's a 3-element wire beam firing straight up in the air. I cannot load my quad at all. I cannot load it at all on this frequency. It's dead short, and most all my power is reflected power here, and very limited output. We've had very heavy snow. Yesterday we had just over 2 inches, and part of the same system, and we had some freezing rain and freezing drizzle and sleet last night. Not heavy, but it iced up everything badly. And the new snow, including yesterday, is probably about 7 inches at the moment. So we're up to about 130 inches for the season. Right now, as I talk to you at 23 minutes to 4 on the 7th of February, 2020, we are having very, very heavy snow. Temperature is 21 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 degrees Fahrenheit, and the wind about 10 to 15 miles per hour. The barometer is way low. There's a storm that is probably very close to near Boston itself. Of course, nothing's happening there near the eye. That's going to go up along the coast of Maine and keep us in the snow probably until late evening with snow showers all night. So that's it. We're in a bad situation with the weather, and we have it smaller, but another storm Sunday night and Monday morning, another one, then another one about Thursday of next week, so it's getting interesting. Okay, back to you, Jim, and I did not work Ian this morning. At that time, I couldn't load anything. I was shorted, but I copied Ian through all that stuff on 40, and here he is.
Hey, Mike, and I'll have to keep it pretty short. I've got a pretty good on some heavy on till we get to WA 3 hours with company VK311.
Okay, that was Ian coming through on no receiving antenna. I didn't mean to make this so long. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Well, you're giving Arlington, Virginia a 7 over their noise level, and so I went around, and that was about the hottest SDR. I don't have anything on my local antennas, so thank goodness for the Arlington SDR. I'm hoping that that snow, like I say, you better go back. You need an antenna tuner in the worst sort of way. Those things will work even if that antenna was under the snow. I've talked to a guy, about 8 months ago. He was up in Michigan, and he had just finished reworking his dipole antenna. Unfortunately, the rope that he used to hang his dipole seemed to be a favorite snack for the local squirrel population, so they did decide to eat as much as they could before they ate his support rope in two, and his dipole did come crashing down into a foot of snow, and I was talking to him on that dipole buried a foot below the snow, and it was just a tribute to his great antenna tuner. Roger?
Let me tell you something. This is K1GZL. I used to run phone patches down into the Antarctic back in the early 60s, or was it, mid 60s up to the early 70s from and when I used to work KC9, KC4, I'm trying to think of the call letters down near Bird Station, out at Bird Station, and they had a piece of wire buried under the snow in the Antarctic, and they would look for the only beat of fifth they could hear on the band, and it was me getting tuned up to work the Antarctic on phone patches. Go ahead.
Oh, roger that. Well, it's just amazing the ability of RF energy to be capable of radiating through all kinds of weather, particularly snow. You wouldn't think that an antenna could radiate through snow, but the thing is, if you can tune it, it will work. So there you go. Charlie, I'm not going to hold you, sir. We do not have really good conditions today, and that you're going to have some major problems with that additional snow coming on, Roger.
Yeah, but I was plowed out this morning at 11:15. It took them over 15 minutes to do it. I was plowed out. But since then it snowed and snowed and snowed and snowed. Snow started just around 9:30 in the morning. And by 10 o'clock in the morning, it was heavy snow, except it let up for an hour between 1 and 2 p.m. But after that, boom, down. And right now, heavy snow. East 73, Jim. Good luck, and we'll catch you, hopefully underlined next Friday. K1GZL. Thank you for picking me up.
Roger, Charlie. Yeah, I hope that snow doesn't last. I hope it melts off pretty quick so you can load up and be back with us with 20 overs. We'll be keeping our prayers open for less snow and more moderation as far as the weather. Threes, Charlie. Thanks for checking in. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. My name is Jim, KC9VKV, and I'm better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And we're now recording live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days, so when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV. That's Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, and that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking for one Qso-Vlog entitled My Group Aircheck 2720, which is today's date. My Group Aircheck 2720. This is KC9VKV, the Qso-Vlog network, and we're listening.
KC9VKV. Whiskey 9 Alpha Tango.
Whiskey Tango, something, come back with the call sign again.
Whiskey 9 Alpha Tango.
Whiskey 9 Alpha Tango, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Jim. It's Mark here in Atlanta, Georgia. We're having a beautiful day. Sorry about the Northeast. Wondering how you might consider my audio.
Why don't you give me about 10 or 15 seconds on your antenna system and let me hear it.
You bet. We're working with a roughly 130-foot end-fed half-wave antenna. And then 150 feet of coax. So working with a little loss, but otherwise things are going pretty well.
Alrighty, Mark, your audio seems to be fairly loose. I think we probably can tighten that up a little bit. It looks like almost a 8 dB dynamic range. We want to move that to about a 3 and fatten it up. So if you're ready, go ahead and engage your compressor at about a 3.
I'm sorry, Jim, I went out of order. The compressor is on right now. Do you want me to go without it?
No, I want you to verify that the compressor is on and running at a 3 input level.
Roger. I think we're there.
All right, then we move to ALC. And with mic gain in hand, I want you to bring your ALC level up to mid-scale to 2/3 by your mic gain control. Roger?
Roger, Jim. So I'm just moving right now, mid-scale to 2/3. I think that's the sweet spot right there. Over.
All righty. And now tell me something about the best thing you like about your radio.
The best thing I like about my radio, I can listen to multiple bands at the same time. It's got several antenna inputs for receive and transmit, which is really quite nice. Now I just have to build the antenna farm. It's actually been working out very well for me so far, Jim. Over.
Roger. Just thinking, you're still fairly wide in your bandpass, not bandpass, but your index, your modulation index. So we want to close that. Check again your ALC. Be sure you're running mid-scale to 2/3. The sweet spot is that area between mid-scale and 2/3. Roger.
Roger, Jim. So I'm looking at it now, and I am mid-scale to 2/3 on it.
Oh, Roger that. Having just a little bit of condition reversal there. Do you still copy me all right?
You sound great, Jim. Over.
Roger, you've dropped to probably about just 3 dB above my noise level, 2 to 3 dB. It's hard to take it further than where we are with that signal drop down. I was trying to bring up the Atlanta SDR. That would be the place to be. I guess I don't know if we've ever tried that or not, but I can't. Everybody's using it. The more I talk about my SDRs, the more other folks are using it. So it's kind of defeating my own self, Roger.
I completely understand the success.
Well, Mark, I think we're, probably at an impasse right now because you have faded down quite a bit. But I think just be sure that you try to keep that modulation level up to mid-scale to 2/3 on the ALC. I would, for the time being, probably just keep the ALC meter up. And just verify that you are doing that. Sometimes we have a tendency when we're setting levels that we kind of overemphasize our voice level to set that level, and consequently then when we're just talking normally, we have maybe just a slighter less volume on our voice. So the whole trick of the thing is to set that ALC with the normal voice communications, and so that way it will be working normally when you're talking, and that has a lot to do with achieving our 3 dB dynamic range. And if we do that, then we will have 80 to 85% of average peak modulation. Roger.
Roger, Jim. Well, the propagation gods may not be smiling on me today. I'll have to work on that a little bit. But in the meantime, have a great day with Whiskey 9 Alpha Tango.
Roger, Mark 3's that way, sir. EQ sounds good. I don't think you have any problems there. It was just a matter of trying to get that modulation a little fatter, and I think we did that. So maybe next Friday we'll have better conditions and check back in, and we'll look at that EQ a lot closer when we have better capabilities of hearing it. So anyway, today and for the next few weeks, we'll be conducting a sidewalk survey, an AB receiver test between our normal modified Yaesu FT990 and a newer digital influenced ICOM 7300. There will be a few anomalies. During the test, our 990 receiver will be running a resonant dipole with 0 reflected wave, and the 7300 will be running 2 co-phase 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. All transmissions will be from our regular FT990 on the dipole. This is KC9VKV. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
November 9, Echo Alpha Whiskey.
November 9. What was the rest?
Echo Alpha Whiskey.
Echo Alpha Whiskey. Roger, what's the name there, please?
Tom Tango Oscar Mike.
Roger, Tom, and whereabouts are you located, sir?
I'm located just west of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, about 10 miles west of Milwaukee.
Roger, and what radio are you running today?
I'm running the FTDX 3000 Yaesu, and I'm running a doublet, 94-foot doublet, fed with 450 ohm window line up about 60 feet. Pointed east-west, and the microphone is a Behringer XM8502.
Roger that. Well, the thing to do is, a normal set of procedure is to engage our compressor at a 3. About a third of its capability is 30 out of 100, 3 out of 10. Roger, that's where we start.
Yep, we got her there. In fact, I made sure it was set there before I called you.
Excellent. And your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3, Roger?
I'm going to check that again. It's a little bit, I would say right around the 2/3 to 3/4 mark.
Excellent. And then come the EQ. I would prefer just a little bit to start with, just a little bit more on the top end for some a little bit more articulation. What kind of EQ do you have, sir?
Well, here's the thing. I've done extensive testing of the EQ system with this microphone. I'm convinced the microphone just doesn't have a lot of highs to offer. It's a 3-band parametric, and I think I've got it about as boosted on the top end for the real articulation right around 2800 to 3K as I can get it. The level set at a 10, and the bandwidth is set at a 1, and it's running right around the 3K mark. Jim, go ahead.
Roger, so you're running a full boost on the top end with a 1 and that would be the narrowest parametric setting? Just out of curiosity, and if it would be easy for you, and what was the frequency, center frequency?
I think it's 3,000. 3K.
Roger. If you would be up for a little experiment, if you were to drop that at about 29 and broaden it up to the next widest capability there, I guess that would be a 2, just to see what we do as far as getting a little more top going there.
Yep, got the menu in front of me and just made the change. 2900, level 10, and a bandwidth of 2. How does that sound? Over.
Sounds good. Now you are running 100 to 2900 bandpass?
I think this radio runs 100 to 3000.
Roger that. Okay, and tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, it's if you've seen the designs for what's called the ZS6BKW, a modified G5RV antenna, that's kind of what this is. Modified G5RV antenna, that's kind of what this is. The specs on that antenna kind of dictate that you slice off a 75-foot piece of coax and add 50 to 75-foot piece of coax, connected directly to that feed line. The reason being the transformation of the feed point impedance on the bands of choice 10, 20, 40 meters, I think even 12 and 17 are pretty close, is right around 50 to 70 ohms. So that's the original specification calling for that. But you can also feed it with more ladder line and run it right to a link coupled tuner, which is what I'm doing. I've got about 97.5 feet of feed line. I'm running it direct. Go ahead, Jim. 175 watt matchbox. Go ahead, Jim.
Roger, I was just moved over to Milford. You were doing about a 12 over on Milford. And I think probably that gives you just a little more top end by going to that lower frequency where you might have just a tad more frequency content coming out of that microphone. But you're right, that mic is not articulating too well on the upper frequencies. The thing would be to move, probably if you wanted to get more top end, would be to move to a condenser microphone or electret microphone, Roger.
To a condenser microphone or electret microphone, Roger.
Yeah, that's my next plan of attack. I think I'm going to be looking at something else. And I'm trying to kind of weed down the actual selection process. I'd like to have something for recording in my studio also, make it a dual-purpose situation. So I'm kind of looking at a couple of different things. I've got a condenser, I've got a preamplifier here sitting here, made by a company called Studio Projects, and they also had at one point it's a 12AX7 mono processor. But at one point they also had a matching microphone that seemed to be kind of flat response, and those up and interfacing it to the front of the radio. That's what I'm doing. I'm actually going. I've got an unbalanced to balanced conversion going right through the front microphone jack of the radio. I'm not going through the back of the radio. Jim, over.
Roger that. Yeah, and I'm not familiar with that preamp. I use a ART preamp. And this is a homebrew condenser microphone, the ART preamp. I really love it because it has, it's very, very quiet, has a lot of gain, does have a 12AX7 for warming, and has, input-output controls. So I usually am running this one about 10 dB below maximum gain in the front end, and wide open on the back end, and then there's a little more processing that goes on past that at the high level point, and then it comes back and is reduced to a lower level going into the radio. And I have found an interesting way to get into the mic level is I call it the double bridge circuit. I bridge out of the high level at 10K, and I bridge in to the mic input at 10K, and then I use a shunt resistor from where the two 10Ks come together to ground to work out my input level control. So I want that input mic pot to be somewhere around 1030, right in that area. So I'll just find the resistor that gives me that audio level. And so what happens is, regardless of what the resistance of the resistor between the two 10Ks, I will always show a 10K load on the incoming and a 10K load on the high level. Roger.
Well, you can't get any more balanced matched than that, can you? That's a fantastic way of doing things, Jim. I also wonder, do you think, other than the slight lack of top end that you're seeing or hearing there, whether you're actually looking at the rest of the signal as being somewhat balanced? Does it seem to be okay otherwise? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking, I'm on my 7300 right now. And I have a spectrum analyzer tied to the output of my mix board. Mix board's really flat, so that spectrum analyzer is seeing the real deal there. And when you go to YouTube and check out our video, which is named My Group Aircheck 2720, you'll see our spectrum analyzer back there, and it has three white stripes on it, and the furthest stripe to the left denotes 100 cycles. And then as you start going off to the right-hand side, the first mark on the right-hand side is 1 KC, and then there's a black area, which is 2 KC, and the next white furthest to the right is 4 KC. So you can see your actual audio and see what's going on. And I have to tell you, the 7300 is really flat. That radio coming out, into the real world is very, very flat, down to past 100 cycles. And if you ever really wanted to do yourself a favor, if you engaged in getting an outboard speaker system, I really like a two-way with a subwoofer. And then the idea is you have to calibrate that subwoofer very carefully, but with the subwoofer in there, you're good down to probably 50 cycles or so as far as hearing. And it's just amazing, the technical quality that this 7300 is capable of, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, I'm also looking at my compression meter, and it's telling me I'm only running dB of compression. So, do you think it would benefit me at all to add a little bit more? Go ahead.
No, I don't, because what you want to do is let that compressor do its thing and not be obvious about it or obtrusive about it. That's the idea about, professional applications for equipment, to be able to set it up where it's very transparent. And that's the thing, if you set it up where you have 20 dB of compression, every time you just take a breath, you'll hear this breath go, ripping through the head as the compressor expands. So the best way to use a compressor is very gently, like about maybe 3 dB, 4 dB compression, because then when it does suck up, it's kind of unobtrusive, as opposed to really sucking up very loudly, and you're hearing the cows in the South 40 and the wife beating the kids and stuff.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, that's about right where I'm at, so I'm going to leave it right where it is. At first, I thought the meter was a little inaccurate because I wasn't seeing much deflection. I connected it to and it seemed to change it a little bit. But now, I've got it at a point now where it's doing just pretty much what you said. I'm peaking right around 5, and my average is probably 2 to 3. So that's great. I'm going to leave that where it is. Okay, Jim. I appreciate all the time you've given today, and wanted to get with you this one time to see how things were shaping up. So I'll put you 73. Let's move on to another taker, and I'll be listening like I usually do. And I do watch for the YouTube as well, so I know how to get to that. And when I get a chance. KC9, Victor Kilo Victor, from November 9, Echo Alpha Whiskey. Tom, near Milwaukee, 73, and have a good day, Jim.
What's his mic gain set at, Jim?
I'm not sure. Not really important. The idea is that his mic gain brings his ALC to mid-scale to 2/3. So that's the thing. The actual level of the mic gain pot is irrelevant. It's how the that plays into the ALC, and you want the ALC to be running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Roger, but he sounds like he needs a little more punch to me, Jim. KFYTV, how you doing? You sound good. I like the icon.
Yeah, Roger. Well, he can't get more punch because he's running his ALC at mid-scale to 2/3. And you don't want to exceed the speed limit, otherwise you're headed towards distortion and splatter. Roger?
Well, he's about an S7 to me on the average, and it sounded like he needed a little more punch. I think I got this one set up pretty good. Sounding all right?
Well, I can't comment right now. I just want to make the point very clear that the ALC is the Bible of your radio. You must observe the operations of your ALC. It will tell you what's going on better than your buddy down the street. It knows what's going on, and it will tell you what's going on, and you should very well listen to your ALC and set it up to where the ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3. It's not a question of whether he needs more or less. It is the proper operation for the radio to run that ALC at mid-scale to 2/3. If he's doing that, that's about what you can expect from that radio. Roger?
Well, he sounded like he needed to pump it up a little bit on the mic gain, but he sounds better. He sounds a little more trebly than he was when he first started. Anyway, KI4YTV, have a good day, Jim. You sounded good, as usual.
Roger, who is that again?
It's Ed over here in Alabama, KI4YTV.
Yeah, Roger, Ed. And have you have you looked at your ALC today? Roger. Well, I think, actually, if you ever change microphones or anything, I just didn't, on a weekly basis, I will always consult my ALC to be sure that I'm running that radio properly. That is, like I say, the Bible is the main thing as far as telling you what's going on with your radio modulation-wise. Roger?
Most of the time, just regular talking.
Yeah, Roger, yeah. All right, sir, thank you. And we'll say 3's up that way. Where were you again? What's your location?
I'm in southeast Alabama. We've talked several times.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, you're sounding good. Your dynamic range is right where it should be, about 3 dB. And that's the idea to run that ALC mid-scale to 2/3. That will give you, actually what you're doing with the ALC, you're looking at the output of the radio's limiter. And what happens is as you start bringing up the ALC level, the limiter is trying to keep it down. And so as you continue pushing up, the limiter's pushing down, and then you have a fatness of the signal that will take you from a non-processed 10 dB, which is a normal unprocessed signal audio-wise, to a 3 dB, which is, in my estimation, ideal, because a 3 dB fatness of your audio dynamic range means that your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%, which is ideal for these radios.
Yeah, I didn't do that mod with the ALC jumper with the capacitor, but I did go in and turn the radio up. It wasn't driving my amp hard enough. I'm barefoot now, but I got a lot more wattage out. If I go into the service menu, it made a big difference.
Yeah, Roger. Well, to each his own, and I'm glad it worked out for you. I would hate to suggest something like that and have 20 people looking for me with axes when their radios have problems. Not that situation is going to occur, but there is the possibility. So when I give advice, it is a good advice and not marginal advice or not. Well, anyway. 3Z, have a good day, sir.
Oh, the other thing about the 7300 that I noticed, actually at 12.99 volts, it actually puts out more power than at 13.8. So go figure. KI4ITV.
Roger. 3Z. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
W4 Japan, Papa Delta.
Papa Delta, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jim. KC9 Victor Charlie Victor from Whiskey 4 Japan, Papa Delta. Pete down here in Charlotte. Have a new radio. Thought I'd give you a call. Still making adjustments. But you got a good signal, Jim. You're 5.9 plus 10 here into the Charlotte area. And the radio's a Kenwood 890. So back to you, Jim. KC9 Victor Charlie Victor from Whiskey 4 Japan, Papa Delta.
Roger there. And what was the name again?
Pete, short for Peter.
That's right, Pete. We talked last week, and it seems like maybe you are not running quite as much compression today, but your signal just sounds beautiful. But I don't hear any breaths, in the pauses, so I think it's great, Roger.
Yeah, hey, we're doing a little optimization here, about 5 dB on peaks. And, of course, with the 18-band graphic equalizer. I've been fiddling with that, and we're at a 2.9 bandwidth here. So just thought I'd check and see how it sounded. So I won't hold it. I know you got a lot of other folks, a lot of customers lined up there for you, Jim. KC9 Victor Charlie Victor, W4JPD.
Roger, Pete, and looking at your audio on the spectrum analyzer, running the 7300 receiver, and it looks like you're fairly well flat from 3 down to right in the vicinity of 100 cycles. So, the thing about the fat bottom end is as long as you've got a fat top end, then you're balanced, and you can have you can go down to 100 cycles and sound beautiful, provided you've got that up top stuff. And the problem is, if you don't, then when you go out to 100 cycles on the bottom end, it sounds muddy because it's not balanced with enough in the top end. But your signal is just beautifully balanced, Roger.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate that, Jim, and I'll let you pick up some of the other folks. But great to hear you, and thanks much for the report. KC9VCV, W4JPD.
Roger, Pete. The call is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor. And if you wanted to see your audio, like I say, we are running a spectrum analyzer on screen. That if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking for an Aircheck today called My Group Aircheck 2720. My Group Aircheck 2720, and like I said, we do have a spectrum analyzer displayed on our set, and so you can just see what you're doing audio-wise, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, I made a note of that, Tim. Thank you very much, and have a good weekend there. Talk to you later. And got the call right there. KC9 Victor Kilowatt Victor, W9 VK or W4JPD. Bye-bye.
Roger. Beautiful audio. Oh, great. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Kilo Charlie 2, Victor Romeo Alpha.
Victor Romeo Alpha, come back with a call sign again, please.
Kilo Charlie 2, Victor Romeo Alpha. My name is Charlie. I'm on the southeast shore of Lake Ontario.
And you're up in Canada, Roger, Roger?
No, on the southeast shore here in New York.
Oh, okay, all right. So how far are you from the border there, Charlie?
Probably 60 miles, because I'm, well, no, I'm probably about 30 miles. I'm about a mile from the lake shore, and I think about 30 miles. I'm about a mile from the lake shore, and I think 80 miles across Canada.
Roger, Roger. Charlie, what radio are you running, sir?
Well, right now I'm running a 480 HX 10-wood. I had a question on an old Swan.
Gosh, you're slipped down into my noise there just a little bit. Repeat the radio.
I'm running a 10-wood 480 HX, but my question's on an old Swan 500.
Right, I got the Kenwood radio, but then you were talking about a Swan something?
Yeah, Swan 500 I'm having trouble with.
What kind of trouble are you having with it, Charlie?
Well, it was sitting here just listening, and I started a whistle noise, and the meter went all the way to the right, and at first I thought it was a voltage problem, but if I put an ANL on, it quits, or if I put my RF gain all the way counterclockwise, it'll quit.
Yeah, now I don't know. Somebody might refresh my memory, but there was a radio way back in the CB days that had what's called a ping. And I don't know if it was the Swan or not, but it was when you would key it, there would be a slight delay of turning the audio off the speaker, and then it would kind of fade off. So you would have this feedback that sounded like a ping there for about half a second each time you transmitted. Anybody know if that was a Swan or what that radio was?
It's a Model 500 Swan. It's not a ping, it's a steady tone. I think it must be 60 cycles because I can hear the little vibration in it.
Oh, roger that, yeah. I was just, there was, I'm not really sure. You just probably have to work with it a little bit. You might have some power supply problems if it's 60 cycles. And does it not mute on transmitter or what?
Yeah, the transmitter's working fine. I'm running a little over 300 watts on transmit. If I put the RF gain all the way counterclockwise, so it would be like shutting off the signal, and then bring it back clockwise, it stays okay until I key the mic.
Yeah, Roger. I don't know, sir. You might need to consult, some help online there, Roger.
Yeah, it'll work with the AML on, but the voices aren't clear. They're muffled when I receive them. It still transmits fine. I can receive on AML, but it's all buggered up. And just for curiosity, how does this radio sound?
Oh, the transmitter sounds really good. You got it going on there. As much as I can tell, I'm copying you about 3 to 4 dB above my noise level, but it sounds good, Roger.
Roger, I got you 7 or 8, I guess it is, even with the attenuator on. I've heard your voice on here before, and I was just curious. I finally got into you.
Roger that. Well, we do this Qso-Vlog network on Friday afternoons on this frequency, 7188, between 3:30 and 5. And so, gosh, if you hear us in there, just jump in. It's a lot of times it's maybe a little better earlier in the show around 3:40 or 3:45 because things might be a little lighter then than later on with heavier transmissions coming in. Roger.
Right now, like I say, I'm running an AL80B, and I'm almost up to 900 watts. And I'll have to get back and get some work done. KC9 Victor Charlie Victor, I believe it is. Kilo Charlie 2 Victor Romeo Alpha. Thank you very much. That's the time. Goodbye.
Roger, 3 that way, sir. You have a good afternoon. And this is KC9VKV, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And we are the Qso-Vlog network. Between now and 5, we are recording. And then we'll post it up on YouTube. So if you check in, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. We're running now about 940 Qso-Vlog air checks, but the one for today will be entitled My Group Aircheck 2720, today's date. My Group Aircheck 2720. This is KC9VKV listening.
Kilo Bravo 3 ABC.
Somebody's very distorted, but that's ABC, is that Roger?
November 4, Alpha Bravo Tango. It might have been my voice distorted, over.
No, you're clean. Give me that call again slowly, phonetically.
That's November 4, Alpha Bravo Tango, over.
Yeah, you're clean. What's the name there?
Say again?
What's the name? What's your name?
Okay, the name is Cleve. Charlie Lima Echo Victor Echo. Cleve. QTH is Millington, Tennessee, just north of Memphis, over.
Hey, Roger, and what radio are you running, sir?
We've got an IC 7300 into an SB 200 linear, over.
Roger that. Well, gosh, we need to fatten that 7300 up just a little bit. I don't know if you hear our suggestions, but the first thing would be to engage the compressor at about a 3. Get that compressor online at about a 3 level, Roger.
Okay, I've got the little menu up here. Okay, compression is at a 3 now, over.
All right, and then go to your ALC, and with mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC to where you're running mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC meter.
Okay, let me get the ALC meter up. Okay, adjust it to, it's adjusted so that I'm just hitting a 9, over.
Roger. So how does that interpolate as far as the, you see the ALC meter reading there? Are you, towards the right-hand side there, around 2/3 of the run of that meter?
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking me here. Say again, please.
All righty. You've got your ALC meter up, and you'll notice that there's a line associated with your ALC meter, and all the way to the right-hand side would be 100%. So what you're looking for is a signal that is between mid-scale on that line to 2/3. Roger?
Okay. Well, it goes, the ALC, let's see. Okay, I've got it up. Got it up to about 2/3 there right now, over.
Roger, yeah, and what you want to do is as you speak, to set that level, you have your mic gain in hand, and then you just talk normally, not loud like you're going to set a level or anything, but just normally like you would normally talk, and then just bring your mic gain up to where that meter is running mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Okay, it's running about there now, over.
Roger. And so that's a 7300, Roger?
Yes, it is a 7300, over.
Roger, Roger. Using the stock hand mic?
Yes.
All righty. I would, do you know how to go to your treble and bass EQ?
Yes, I do.
Okay, this is transmit bass and treble EQ. You go to there, and I want you to set the treble EQ 2 dB hotter, 2 clicks hotter than what it is.
Tell me where I find those that setting quickly, over.
All right, it's down on the lower left-hand side of your meter. There's a button called multi.
Okay, that's multi is above my above and to the left of the tuning knob, over.
It should be to the left, bottom left of your display, called multi, Roger. Oh, I'm sorry, menu.
No, M-scope, quick and exit down there.
Sorry, menu. Temporary insanity, sir.
Okay, I've got the menu.
All right, and then what are your options?
One of them is set.
Go to menu set.
Yeah, go to menu set, and what it is, it'll take you to set, which takes you to tone control, which takes you to transmit, which takes you to sideband, and that should be your display for your bass and treble EQ.
Okay, I got it.
All right, and what is your current treble EQ?
Okay, it's set to a +1.
All right, just move that to a +2. Move that to a +2, and idea about working your microphone, you want to work that microphone to the side of your mouth. Do not work directly into it. Pull it to the side of your mouth and talk across it, but have it actually in contact with the side of your lips, Roger.
Okay, I've got it up to a +2, and I'm talking off to the side of it, over.
Roger, I think we were adding 2. You were already at +1, so we were adding 2, so you should be at +3 on that.
Okay, I'm at +3.
All righty, and then what's your reading on the bass?
It's a +2.
All right, just out of curiosity, bring that up to a +3 on the bass. I'm looking at your signal on a spectrum analyzer, so well, let's see what we can do on the bottom end, if you would be interested.
Okay, we're at +3 on both bass and treble now, over.
Roger, I think that'll do. You're not real heavy in the bottom end, but you do have some representation there. I think overall the sound is very articulated. I don't think anyone will have trouble understanding what you're saying, Roger.
Okay, appreciate that.
Roger, and what antenna system are you running today, sir?
I'm running a 3-wire fan dipole about 30 feet off the ground, over.
Roger that. Well, I'm copying your signal on 2 10-foot mag loop antennas running in the co-phase mode, and you're about 12 dB over my residual noise level, Roger.
Okay, it sounds like I'm getting out. I'm putting out about 300 watts peak, over.
Yeah, Roger. Sounds good. You have a nice signal. I haven't run around the SDRs. Tell me the best thing you like about your radio, and I'll consult some of the SDRs and see what you're doing elsewhere.
Well, one of the things my previous radio was Kenwood TS440, and this one is light years ahead of the 440, over.
Yeah, I'm currently evaluating the 7300 against our normal FT990, and I have a report somewhere. You know, it's like everything else. It's finding things that you aren't sure whether you should be. I do have a report on that. I'll do that. But sir, I think you're doing great, and I would say if you get a chance, check back in with us next Friday and let me know what you've been doing, Roger.
Okay, I'll do that. I guess if I had to single out one thing for the IC 7300 that I like better than anything else, that would probably have to be the versatility of the display. I like the waterfall display, the way it works and what it shows, and I like the fact that I can do so many things from that display. Over.
Oh, Roger. Now, I mainly know the 7300 through the transmitter. We've probably set up about 180 7300s and about 50 some odd 7610s. And the neat part about those two radios is they just have an ideal limiter. I mean, that thing has practically no blow-by. It's like a stonewall limiter that once you get it adjusted, you just bring up the audio, push the limiter just a little bit to whatever fatness you want. I suggest a 3 dB level, and that means 80 to 85%, Roger.
Okay, well, that sounds good. I certainly appreciate your advice on this thing, and I will check back in. I hear you on every once in a while. I'm not always on Friday afternoon, but I hear you on periodically, and I will check back in. Over.
Roger, 3ZWH. What was the name again?
Name is Cleve, Charlie Lima Echo Victor Echo. Over.
That's right, and you're in Tennessee, Roger?
Just north of Memphis, about 20 miles, a little town called Millington. Over.
Great. All right, sir, threes to you, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, Roger.
Okay. I noticed on your QRZ page that you spent a little time on a 50,000 watt major station. That wouldn't be WLS, would it?
No, it's WHAS in Louisville, Roger.
Oh, okay. I used to listen all the time when I was a teenager to a 50,000 watt station from Little Rock called KAAY. Over.
Roger. Not familiar with that station, but those 50Ks do bang out for sure, Roger.
Yeah, my son lives in the shadow of the tower of what's the big 50,000 watt station in Nashville. Over.
Well, it's WSM and WLAC.
WSM, the one with the big, with the pointy end tower. It's fat in the middle and skinny on both ends. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, it's really funny. They are the country music station in the country music capital, but years past, they were in the daytime. They were MOR, middle of the road music, not country. But when it got night, then that's when they would start country, and I guess to be good for their label, they decided to do that full time. So they are known as the country music station in the country music capital. Roger.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, it's been nice talking to you this afternoon, James, and I'll check back in with you on another Friday afternoon. Over.
Roger, Roger, Charlie, 3Z sir. You have a good afternoon. This is KC9VKV, and so the AB receiver test comparison between our classic modified Yaesu FT990 and a current digital ICOM 7300 continues. I think we're about in our fourth or fifth week, so without further ado, here is Adventures in Radioland. This segment, second report, ICOM 7300 versus Yaesu FT990. And first, I'll reiterate, this is not an official technological sanctioned AB test between the ICOM 7300 and our classic 35-year-old Yaesu FT990. It is, however, an operator's impressions after having run both radios for a month or so on a 6-position rotary switch along with 4 Internet SDR receivers. To begin with, this part of the AB test is a receiver-only evaluation, and to that end, I made sure the 7300 receiver was in as flat a receive mode as possible. The receive audio EQ was set to flat. The receive filter was set to the number 1 position, which is the least filtered position on the 7300 receiver, and the bandpass was set to 100 to 2900. Also, the noise blanker and noise reduction controls were set to off, as well as the preamp gain was set to 1, which is the off mode for that, and serves as the antenna attenuate. All that being said, it was obvious from the beginning the 7300 had a much better audio frequency response curve than the FT990, in spite of the fact that the Yaesu FT990 receiver has been modified to extend its low and top-end audio frequency response. But again, when I switched from the 990 to the 7300, receiving the same signal, there was a decided, noticeable difference in the top and bottom end audio performance of the 7300. This was demonstrated many times on my Shack Set Spectrum Analyzer. In my estimation, the 7300 represents a new standard in HF radio audio frequency response. This was most noticeable when listening on a full-range external monitoring system. Since there were 2 antenna systems involved, there was quite a bit of give and take regarding sensitivity and selectivity, so we have no definite evaluations in that regard at this time. I will say it was really nice having a second opinion to consult and select from. And we'll probably continue our AB receiver comparisons for the next few weeks and then move on to the AB transmit test, and we'll have more on that later. This is KC9VKV and the Qso-Vlog network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. Zulu Mike Station, come back with your call sign again, please.
This is Kilo Echo 8 Lima Zulu Mike. The name is J. Juliet Alpha Yankee out of Ohio.
Roger, Jay, and whereabouts are you in Ohio?
I am in Toledo, Ohio.
Ah, Roger. Well, you're making a trip to my 990. I'm running 2 co-phased 10-foot magnetic loop antennas, and you're doing me about a 10 over, Roger.
No copy on the 10 over. I've got you 5. You sound really good here. I'm not going to keep you long. I've got a Yaesu ST-DX1200, and I actually just put a D104 on it. ALC peaking just about where it should be. I just wonder how the audio is to you.
Well, it's got a lot of top end. It doesn't have much bottom end. Come back and tell me about your antenna system, and let me hear it.
Copy. I'm running just barefoot, just 100 watts. I am running just a simple end-fed half wave, apex about 35 foot up, inverted V.
Oh, Roger that. Now, you are going to be running that microphone, Roger?
Go back to the hand mic. Really not a preference. I do happen to have this one hooked up right now, and I thought I'd just check to see how it sounded.
Roger. What radio are you running?
The FT-DX1200 Yaesu.
Okay, that mic is fairly upper mids only. There's almost no bottom end to it. If you are in the neighborhood of your EQ, and if you're going to run that mic, I would suggest going to your bass EQ and cranking in quite a bit to try to broaden the balance out a little bit, Roger.
Well, I'll be honest, I have kind of a higher pitched voice to begin with, so this may not be the best mic for me to even use.
I can't tell you about that. I'm just looking at your audio in a spectrum analyzer, and it's mostly, 1 kC, 2 kC, and not much down, nothing at 100 cycles, nothing on the bottom end at all.
So where would I bring that up on the parametric EQ equalizer?
Sir, parametrics on any day are slippery and very difficult to deal with, particularly on the radio. What's your bottom end bass frequency set at this time, and what's the width of the parametric setting?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm not exactly sure. I know I'm in equalizer frequency 100 is where it's at right now.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, how far away is that hand mic?
It's sitting right next to me.
Why don't you do us a favor, and we'll have an experiment. Disconnect the the D104 and plug in the hand mic and let me hear you.
I can do it that fast.
Is that you?
Copy. Yeah, I just simply switched over to the hand mic.
All right. Tell me about your radio just for a minute. About 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Tell me about your radio.
Copy that. Okay. Again, the Yaesu F2DX1200. Love the radio. Got it secondhand. I can't be happier with it. Kind of new to this. So it's all new. So that should be about for 10 seconds, and we'll see what I sound like.
All right. I think you got a better chance with that mic than that D104. Now, let me ask you a question. Is that a powered D104?
Yeah, it is it's a Silver Eagle.
Right. It's got a preamp built in, Roger?
Correct.
Okay, well, that shouldn't be too bad. I mean, the most errors that folks make with a D104 is trying to wire the element directly into their radio. If it doesn't have a preamp, trying to wire that the D104 element directly into the radio, and it just absolutely sounds like sheet 10 because the impedance of that D104 cartridge is tremendously high. And your radio input is around 600 ohms. So because of that mismatch in impedance, that microphone usually sounds like sheet tin. But it's not so bad if you have the preamp, because the preamp has a FET front end that cartridge works into the FET, and that FET is a very high impedance input, so it matches the cartridge well. And then on the output of the preamp, that preamp is probably about 600 ohms, or matches well usually into the audio of the mic input. But there are a lot of things. That is a crystal type of element, and there's a lot of things that can happen to that element along the 30-year some odd path that microphone has had. Particularly heat is not a good thing for that element, and just over a period of time, the element does tend to demise itself. So I think you're better off with your hand mic for the moment, and till you can probably do something else. And if you when you get to your EQ, when you find that, what I would do would be punch up a couple of clicks on the top end, and maybe one click or two on the bottom end of that hand mic, and I think you would be sounding really balanced, Roger.
Oh, copy that. Well, listen, thanks. Again, I don't have a one way or the other. It's just a microphone. I just want something that's going to sound halfway decent. If the D104 sits on a shelf, it sits on a shelf.
Roger. Well, you have a lot more width to your equalization curve with that microphone than you do with the D104. So we'll just leave it that way until you decide to seek other avenues, and purchase another microphone. Roger?
Copy that. Okay, listen, thanks. I don't want to hold you up. It was just, I heard you in there, thought I'd jump in there and see what we could do, and I do really appreciate it.
Roger. And give me your call sign one more time, please.
Echo 8, Lima, Zulu Mike.
Hello. Let's see. So give it to me one more time, slowly, phonetically, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Kilo, Echo 8, Lima, Zulu Mike.
And what was the name?
Name is Jay, Juliet Alpha Yankee.
And you're in Toledo, Ohio. I have all that. I just couldn't find it on my doodling.
Copy that. 73, thanks.
Roger. And I thought I heard my Elmer out there in the miscellaneous level. Hello, Elmer. Is that you out there? Hello, Elmer. Is that you? Charlie Tango Charlie, stand by just a minute. I thought I heard my Elmer out there. Signal strength is somewhere about 1/4 of a dB above my noise level, if you know what I mean. So hang on just a moment. Elmer, are you out there? Do you copy? No, I don't hear him. Usually, he has always has strange antennas that I can't copy him 15 miles away. He is in my noise, but yet he'll turn up on an SDR in Chicago somewhere at a 30 over. It's unbelievable. All right, that station C something, C.C, come back.
Okay, this is William Baker 8, Charlie, Tango, Charlie. William Boston 8, Center Tap Coil. Operator Joe, West Virginia, home of WWVA.
Roger there, West Virginia. I was trying to think where that was in my pattern. I was just looking at my ERP pattern the other day, and we did, design this thing to where we would be 20 over from Montreal to Miami. And but I'm looking here at the hotspot. We have a hotspot that sings right through between Raleigh and there's another R in the other state. Oh gosh, I don't have my notes with me, but we do go right there between those two towns from North Carolina and South Carolina. Roger.
Okay, we're fine. I'm north of Wheeling. I'm north about 20 miles. I was born and grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia. And, of course, always listen to WWVA 50,000 watts. And I imagine you know, and a lot of people don't realize it, that WWVA transmitter blockhouse is not in West Virginia. It's in Ohio. It's in St. Clairsville, Ohio. Did you realize that?
I never really considered the possibilities that it might be elsewhere. From what how do they ID themselves?
Wheeling, West Virginia. The studio is downtown Wheeling, but the blockhouse transmitter and antennas are in St. Clairsville, and it's all run through phone lines from Wheeling out to the transmitter site.
Roger that. All right. Looking at your audio, sir, you might be just a little warm going into your ALC. If you wanted to check your ALC next time you come back, and with mic gain in hand, adjust your ALC to where it's running mid-scale to 2/3. Roger?
Okay, I might have been too close also to the mic. I'm using a desk mic holding it. ICOM SM8. The rig's ICOM 718. Is that any better getting away from the mic?
Oh, yeah. About 4,000% better, Roger.
Okay, real fine. I didn't want to hold you. I do appreciate your report on the audio here. I've been a ham since 1959. Got all kinds of stuff sitting on the table here. Just happened to turn on the little 718 using an inverted V. And appreciate you coming back to me. And when you guys mentioned your 50,000 watts broadcast stations, I figured WWVA would put ear there to you. So do appreciate you picking us up, and you take care. This is William Baker 8 Center Tap Coil.
Roger. Still might be a little warm. I think I would back that your mic gain down. What is your current mic level, Roger?
30%. But I tell you what, I got a compressor on. Let me turn that off. Okay, turn the compressor off. That better?
We're coming along, but I would leave the compressor on, but I would set it at a 3. I would set that compressor at a 3. Roger, leave it on, but at a 3.
Okay, we'll get into it here in a little while and see what happens. Thanks for your report. Thanks for your suggestions. You take care and have a great day. This is WB8CTC, Colliers, West Virginia, stage 73.
Roger. Yeah, get that compressor in there at a 3, and then go back and consult your ALC with mic gain in hand and adjust that ALC to where it would run mid-scale to 2/3 when you're just speaking naturally into your microphone. And just take that mic level control and adjust your ALC for mid-scale to 2/3. And you want to do that after you get your compressor in line. It's, some folks get that confused, but you want to do the ALC setting last after you have done things that you need to do ahead of time. Roger.
Okay, we made notes and we'll play with it. Thank you. 73.
Roger, 3 that way. This is KC9VKV. We got about 12 minutes till 5. At 5 o'clock, we do turn into a pumpkin. So if you've got a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Okay, for ABO.
ABO. It's getting tough to find places to write here. ABO. What's the rest of the call sign there?
Yeah, the call is Kilo 4 Alpha Bravo Oscar K4 ABO.
Roger, sir. And what's the name?
West of Atlanta.
I'm sorry, ABO. What's your name?
Name is Justin here. Justin.
Did you say west of Atlanta?
Yeah, northwest of Atlanta, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Roger.
Oh, Roger, my Atlanta SDR has been down all afternoon. I usually run an SDR in Atlanta just to give me something to work on for folks down in Florida, because that's a long haul there from Miami up barefoot. I ran across my relative down in West Palm yesterday. He was running 100 watts, and I had to get a relay, but it was really a small world. I haven't talked to him in, many years. Anyway, what radio are you running, sir?
Yeah, I'm running ICOM 7600 right now, ICOM 7600, and I was curious to see which SDR do you use in Georgia? Is it Lumpkin County SDR there in North Georgia, or which one?
I'm not sure. Atlanta, I think it is. It's that's all I know. Atlanta, Roger.
Oh, okay, Roger. Yeah, sometimes I'll listen in on the one in North Georgia sometimes, but yeah, good deal. Yeah, you've been around 20 over here. I've been listening to you for a little while, so yeah, good signal and audio coming down here to Georgia.
Roger. Well, we did set out when we were building our station to have a signal that would be 20 over from Montreal to Miami, and that would mean a hotspot through the Carolinas, and that's what it's turned out to be pretty much. It's just pretty much the way, like this is a dipole. It is a resonant dipole, and it is the SWR is almost immeasurable But you know, a lot has to do the radiation pattern on a dipole. A lot has to do with the way it's oriented, east, west, north, south, or combinations thereof that forces that signal more to broaden out or to become more you know, directional, Roger, as a dipole can be directional.
Yeah, Roger on that. Yeah, I think I'm running a 75 meter, 40 meter fan dipole right now, and I've got it running. I should be pointing to the northeast. I have it going to let's see, a little bit to the northwest, going to the northwest, to the southeast. So that's the only really way I can run it on my property. So kind of stuck, but usually I can. It usually does works pretty well up to the Carolinas and up the coast pretty well.
Roger that. Yeah, I just got my Rochester SDR up, and you're sounding good on Rochester, New York SDR, Roger.
Rochester, New York SDR, Roger.
All right, good deal. Now, where are you located at? Where are you talking out of?
We're located just beside Louisville, Kentucky. We're just on the other side of the Ohio River in Indiana, right across from Louisville, Kentucky, about 3 miles from downtown Louisville, Roger.
From downtown Louisville, Roger.
Roger. Well, that's some pretty country up there. I used to travel a little bit for work, doing field service work, and I tell you what, Kentucky, eastern Kentucky, and up that way is just, gosh, that whole stretch up through there is just gorgeous. Sure, I'm kind of jealous, a little bit jealous.
Roger, well, you know, a long time ago when I was looking to move west, I was working for a group of stations in the Carolinas. From a company called Smiles Associates. At that time, you know, they could only own 7 radio stations. So they had 7, and I was a group production director for that chain, and I would go around to the different stations that they had, and then I wanted to move along, and it came time in the 70s, and so I had a chance to go to either Louisville or Des Moines, Iowa. So I said, I got no idea what the weather pattern in Des Moines, Iowa is. So I went to Louisville, and that was to work for WHAS, which is in a 50,000 watt Clear Channel station. It is Clear Channel, owned by Clear Channel now, but this was before Clear Channel was Clear Channel. And I never had to work for Clear Channel, thank goodness. I was a production director for HAS from 1970 to 79, and then opened my own studio, broadcast-oriented production studio, and I guess when I left HAS, I had more customers than they did, Roger.
Wow, that's pretty cool there, pretty cool. I think I've missed my calling, but I've always kind of wanted to get into broadcast and stuff, but just never did. I guess I don't have the personality for it. I guess I'd have to work behind the scenes or something, but
I guess you made a good choice. I guess Iowa gets a lot of tornadoes and a lot of bad weather comes through there, I guess.
Roger, I'm not real sure. I was just real happy. HAS being a 50,000 watt station, I could compete nationally, and I found I didn't have to go to New York or Chicago or LA to be able to compete, because with the 50,000 watt station, they blanketed 3/4 of the states at night, and so I could compete without having to go to those markets that. Well, the thing I liked about Louisville was that you could be downtown, which is a nice little metropolis, and then in 10 minutes you could be in some deep woods, camping out. Roger.
Very cool, very cool. All right, well, I won't hold it up. I know you got a little while to go, so I'll let you take a couple more, and
Yeah, just before you go, how's my audio up your way?
Sounds really good. I would add, what radio was it again?
It's a ICOM 7600, but I am using a little Behringer mixer board in line with it with a little broadcast mic, so it's running all the audio through the accessory port through the back.
Roger. Now, did you say 7600 or 7610?
It's a 7600.
Roger, not familiar with that, but I would crank in a couple of clicks more on the top end, and maybe a couple of clicks more on the bottom end if you've got that real handy, and you can do that real quick, and we'll see what that does. Roger.
All right, so you're saying a little bit more highs, and then a little bit more low end.
Yes, sir. Yeah, a couple of clicks top end, a couple of clicks bottom end.
All right, that's a little bit of a turn up on the highs and a little bit more with the low.
All right, come back and tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, it's a homebrew, 80 meter, 40 meter fan dipole, home built.
Gosh, I thought I was going blind for a minute. Somehow my main screen got reduced to about a quarter screen, and I didn't even notice. I just was saying, hey, why can't I see things? All right, and let's see. Tell me about the 7300, what you like best about that.
Well, it's a 7600 ICOM, and I guess I like watching the waterfall come down and looking at all the the band scope, spectrum scope. I've just had it maybe a couple months here, so upgraded from a Pro 2, so really liking it so far.
Alrighty, tip on your microphone. What microphone are you running?
This is a MXL BCD-1.
Is that a desk mic, hand mic?
No, it's a broadcast mic. It's kind of like a House 781.
Oh, Roger. Okay, you need to get a windscreen for that, a foam windscreen. If you have one handy, just put that on there. That will take care of any transients that might be going on. Roger?
Yeah, Roger, it came with one. I just have to find it somewhere, but okay. Good deal.
Yeah, because that's really important. The closer you work, Mike, the more important that foam windscreen will be as far as getting rid of any mouth noises that might come up. Now, on your bottom end, did you add 2 clicks more on your bottom?
Yeah, I did. Yep, I added a little bit more to the low.
All right, I'm looking at your audio in a spectrum analyzer, and you can see that spectrum analyzer if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. That will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for Qso entitled My Group Aircheck 2720, which is today's date. My Group Aircheck 2720, and on our set we do have a spectrum analyzer where you can see my audio curve, and I can see your audio curve. Roger?
Okay, all right, well, good deal. All right, but yes, any more little tips here before I let you go there?
I would suggest let's do an experiment if you've got just a moment. I would crank in a little bit more bottom end. I want to see you at 100 cycles. Roger?
All right, I turned up a little bit more low end right there. Turned a little bit more low end. Kilo 4 Alpha Bravo Oscar, Atlanta.
All right, and you're running your compressor at a 3, Roger?
I'm not running any compression. Don't have any compression on.
Roger, engage your compressor at about a 3, just a token amount, and we will go through the setup process if you got just a second.
Well, I think the compressor in the radio is bypassed when you run all the audio through the rear of the radio, I believe.
That's right. You're coming in the back end. I forgot about that. You're right. All right. So consult your ALC. Go to your ALC and adjust that ALC by your mic gain to where your ALC is running a mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Okay, all right. So I need to turn it down a little bit. So it's going to the end of the scale here. All right. All right, that should be about 2/3 right there.
All right. So with a mid-scale to 2/3, you're running about 3 dB dynamic range of audio, which means that your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%. Roger.
Okay, Roger on that. Okay.
So you're looking good, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We record live from 3:30 till 5. So, gosh, we'd love to have you check in, and you can say, what you've been doing and how many people have been saluting your audio, Roger.
All right, Roger. I appreciate the few tips there for sure. And, all right, I'll let you go and close out. This is Kilo 4 Alpha Bravo Oscar, Justin here in Atlanta.
Roger. Now, with that little more bottom end, you definitely need to get that windscreen in there so your plosives, B's, P's, and all that are just eliminated by that foam windscreen. So, threes to you down in Georgia. You have a real good afternoon, a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you next Friday.
All right, have a good weekend to yourself, my friend.
Roger. And, gosh, look at the clock. Would you look at the time? It's a couple of minutes past 5, so we do have to get out of here. We have enjoyed it so much this afternoon. I got... oh, no. I got to find the clothes, and I've got a ton of paper. What color? I have this color-coded. But I forgot what the color code was. But I do have to do this closing. I wrote this great closing, and I'm just dumping these papers on the floor. Where is that closing? Oh well, not good. But I'm persistent. If nothing else, I will find it. But maybe not this year. Well, unfortunately, I have no idea what the closing is. So let me just say I've really enjoyed it today, and glad you could drop by if you did. We got you recorded, and if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for an entity called My Group Aircheck 2720. My Group Aircheck 2720, which is today's recording. And gosh, that will be there. And so let's wrap up. We've enjoyed it since 3:30, recording live. Give us a couple of days to get it uploaded. That's the thing, sometimes we get busy, and I hate to promise something that I can't deliver. So we'll get it there by 48 hours from right now. Three's all. Catch you later. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor returning this frequency to normal, irregular, amateur use. Bye-bye.
Well,
Wait, what?
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Kilo Bravo Sierra.
Kilo Bravo Sierra, where are you?
I'm in South Central Virginia. The name here is Andy. I'm located right on Interstate 85, just about, 9 to 10 miles from the North Carolina-Virginia border.
Roger, Andy. Well, you're 10 over here next to Louisville. Roger.
QSL, I've been listening to you for a right good while. You got a booming signal here in Virginia, anywhere from the low side 20 over to some points 60 over. Pretty amazing. Great sounding audio. Listening to you, talking with some of the folks just sitting here, enjoying the conversation.
thought I would just throw my call out there. I figured you were gone already. You said you will probably get out around 5. But anyway, nice to meet your acquaintance.
Roger, what's the name there?
Name is Andy, Alpha November Delta Yankee, and the call again is Kilo Foxtrot 4, Kilo Bravo Sierra.
Roger, Andy. Well, I do have to get out of here. I've got some folks that are next door to me, and so I'm getting some heavy stuff from them, and I'm sure I'm giving them the same. So they've been tolerant, and so I got to get out of here. But if you want to hear your station, it really sounds nice. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that will take you to the Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll be looking for my group Aircheck 2720. My group Aircheck 2720, and we should have that uploaded within the next couple of days, Roger.
Okay. Well, if I get a chance, I might try to listen to it. I don't talk on this thing a whole lot. It's the Syntec Eagle. I'm running the Cam microphone on it, and the antenna is a Mosley TA33 with a 40-meter add-on, so I'm essentially on a rotatable dipole at about 50 feet, running maybe 100 watts at the most, just straight out the radio. That's about it.
Roger. Well, like I say, you're 10 over on my twin co-phased 10-foot magnetic loop antennas. And so we'll say 3Z way, sir, and sounding mighty good. We'll catch you later. This is a KC9VKV.
All right,
Jim, you got 1 second.
So Fox 4, Kilo Bravo's here.
Who is it that I need 1 second with?
Yeah, this is Jerry over here in Jeffersonville. I've already had, you helped me set my radio up a month or two ago. What I want to know is, now that I've added an amplifier, only running 400 watts, how's it look on your meter?
Oh, everything looks the same. You have a very good amp. It's not adding or detracting from your audio at all. No distortion. Just beautiful.
Thank you very much for your extra time. And only 400 watts. We've got a AL80B, but we only run 50 watts into it. So we get about 400, 500. So just wanted to see what the quality, Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Roger, Jerry. Get the Gorilla Tape, tape it down, don't change a thing, and it wouldn't make any difference. Nobody would know the difference between what you're running now and a kilowatt. It's just beautiful. Sally Forth, 3s, KC9VKV, be clear.
AC9NE clear.
Jim, real quick, you're just sounding really terrific out here in Missouri. The best I've heard you sound since I've been listening to you. So, daggone it. All right, we'll get back out on the side. Thank you.
Roger. Who is that out in Missouri?
Jim, this is J, Juliet Alpha Yankee. It's WW0JM. That's Whiskey 0, Juliet Mike. There, back to you.
Roger, and the name was what?
J, Juliet Alpha Yankee.
Roger J. All right, sir. Thank you for checking in there. You're sounding good. Looks to be about maybe 7 over my local noise level. I'm copying you on what am I copying you on? I'm copying you on a dipole. It's actually oriented for the East Coast, but so you're coming in on the back side of it, Roger.
Oh, Roger on that. Well, this is the best I've heard you sound for a long time there. Back to you.
Oh, Roger that. Well, we've been doing this A/B test between the Yaesu 990, my older Yaesu 990, and the newer 7300, primarily doing this test in the receive mode. But there will come a time when we'll be, I've already cut the audio of our control room studio into the 7300. So, after we finish our receive, we'll be probably transmitting on the 7300 for a while, Roger.
Hey, Roger, well, that's what I'm using here on this end. It's a 7300. Really love it. Well, Jim, I won't keep you. Just exactly that, boy, you just you're sounding good this way. Better than normal. Better than normal.
Alrighty, Jim. 73 to you. KC9VKV, WW0 and JM. We're in north central Missouri, and we'll get back to the sun. Thank you, Jim.
Roger, 3's that way, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend coming up. So all said, listen, we've really appreciated this afternoon. Had a lot of fun. Hope you have. And if so, then join us next Friday from 3:30 to 5, where we'll record live all the way and then post it up on YouTube. So for now, we'll be returning this frequency back to normal amateur use. This is KC9VKV clear.
KC9VKV, WD0JIM.
Quickly, WD0 something. WD0 station, this is KC9VKV, quickly. I'm sorry, we just ran out of conditions. I didn't even hear you, my noise level just, you're way under it. So let me say 3's, and we'll catch you next Friday. KC9VKV clear.
Kilo Bravo 7, Lima Mike Tango.
Mike Tango, quickly.
Yeah, Kilo Bravo 7, Lima Mike Tango. I just heard you on here, and I didn't get a chance to check in there. I wasn't aware that you did an audio check thing going here. Name over here is Doug, Delta Oscar Uniform Golf. We're in Wisconsin.
Roger, Doug. Yeah, we run audio record between 3:30 and 5 and then post it up on YouTube. You're on tape. We're still rolling. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page. And on that page, you'll be looking where we have about 940 QSOs recorded, but this one you'll be looking for is called My Group Aircheck 2720. My Group Aircheck 2720 should be on page 1. Roger.
Okay, very good, Jim. Yeah, I'll check that out when I get a chance there, and I appreciate it. I'll let you go. I know you got to get out of here, so I'll look for you again on another Friday, and we'll give her a shot and see what happens there. So. Okay, enjoy the rest of your evening, Jim. Nice talking to you and nice meeting you. KC9VKV from KB7LNT 73.
Roger that. And we do have a spectrum analyzer hooked to our audio on set, so when you go there, you'll be able to see your audio on the spectrum analyzer. And gosh, if folks just had a nice linear audio system that they could take their radio and take the speaker output just to get that audio out of that little box and into a fairly flat, not necessarily expensive audio system, maybe a three-way 2 with a subwoofer, and get that subwoofer, get some nice music in there and get that subwoofer balanced to the left and right, and then pump some of the great ham radio HF audio in there. Oh, it just sounds so nice. Well, we'll catch everybody later. This is KC9VKV, clear.